Welcome to the Business Leader Spotlight. The Business Leader Spotlight is bringing attention to those in our community making a difference in business. It is also an opportunity to identify the skills they have learned and applied to get where they are. And now, let us go into this week's interview.
Welcome to this week's episode of the Business Leader Spotlight. This week we'll be interviewing Manish who's owner of Image360 in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hello, Manish. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for joining us on the show. Do you mind sharing a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So, obviously, as you said, my name is Manish. I am currently the owner of Image360 North Raleigh, Wake Forest. We are a sign and graphics company. We can design, fabricate, install, and service any kind of commercial signage, any kind of commercial graphic, including vehicle lettering, vehicle graphics. And we're located in North Raleigh. We kind of straddle the border of North Raleigh and Wake Forest, if you will.
Okay.
We're on Durant Road, right off of Capitol. So a lot of our clients actually are from the Wake Forest area, and our sweet spot is up and down Capitol into the North Raleigh area. So yeah, we are a local business. We are a small local business that services just about anyone in the triangle, but it always is better, or it always makes sense to do business with people that are closer to you from a proximity standpoint. So I have lived in the Raleigh area for almost 18 years now. So like most people, I am not a local. I am kind of a transplant, but I don't know at what point I become local. So and we love this area. My family loves it also, and maybe as we get into the interview a little bit more, I'll share some more with you on why we love this area and why I chose this business here.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate you telling us kind of a little bit about what Image360 does and how you go about your process. I guess the question I have for you first is, how did you decide to? Because I know you had a career prior to going into Image360, and I think we'll get over and talk about that. But how did you make the transition into owning your own business, and what was that process like for you?
Yeah. So as you stated correctly, I had a 20-plus year career in corporate America. My last position was with a large multinational firm. 12 years over there. I was in the sales and marketing department. I loved my job. I loved the company. Everything was going well, but I just felt like something was missing. You know, my dad was or is an entrepreneur, and I had wanted to do something on my own. I wasn't sure what it was that I wanted to do when I grew up, you know, but I was like, yeah, I do want to do something, and it'd be nice to own my own business. Try it out and see how that goes. So I kind of maybe reached a point with that company where I kind of started getting bored. I was looking for a change, but I didn't know what that change was. And I think a lot of credit also goes to my wife, who got tired of me complaining and whining and basically said, okay, either you're going to be happy with your job, or why don't you go out and try something. So. Right. You really don't have anything to lose. Well, there's money to lose, obviously, but fortunately, we were in a position where we were blessed and we were able to take that decision. And so I started basically researching different businesses. I really didn't know what I wanted to do. But so I took the DISC profile, the MBTI, personality assessments, and kind of, rediscovered myself, if you will. And there were a bunch of businesses that were automatically crossed off my list, restaurants or food, or I just felt that wasn't something that I would enjoy. Maybe I'd be successful at it, but if I'm not enjoying it, what's the point,
Exactly.
I was also looking for a little more work-life balance. So I have two kids who were obviously younger, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, and I wanted to spend a little more time with them in the sense that I wanted work-life balance.
Yes.
So I was looking for a business that was more Monday to Friday, that was more 8:30 to 5. I knew as a business owner, you're always working. It's 24/7, and that's always going on in my head, even on the weekends. And but that's okay. I don't physically have to be at my business on a weekend, keep the doors open, and that allowed me. So I was looking for something that would give me time to spend with my family and my kids also. So in the end, after looking at a lot of those options, and then the other thing, one more thing was that we did not want to move from the Raleigh area. We had been here for a good 13, 14 years, and it was home, or it's home for us. So we didn't want to, pick up and look for another job somewhere else. My former employer said, yeah, we have a lot of different positions, but they would either involve you relocating, and I'm like, I'm not interested. Or we could put you on a plane 4 days a week, as a consultant. And I was like, yeah, that doesn't appeal to me either. That's not what I'm looking for. So looking at a lot of businesses. So I also did not want to move from the area. So it was important for me to get into a business that could thrive in the local market. Now, since I was getting into a business for the first time, or kind of going out on my own for the first time, I felt that maybe going the franchise route would make sense for me. That I would get the advice, I would have somebody holding my hand, and if and when I had any issues or questions or needed support, the franchisor would be there for me. So I looked at a few franchise models, and really the Image360 brand came up to the top. They had a territory open in the North Raleigh area. My commute is, 10 minutes, 11 with traffic, so, and I'm going opposite to the RTP traffic. So I love that. But in the end, I was able to find a territory, and I was able to get into a business that really fits my personality. I know we didn't talk about this, but I'm an engineer by heart. So my bachelor's degree is in engineering. I am about details. I am about precision. And as I entered this industry, I know that signage and graphics is about details. It is about precision. And every project we do is unique. And that is really what kind of drove me into this business. I don't have a background in sign and graphics, and please don't tell anybody. But I am naturally someone who is very curious, someone who loves to learn new things. And as I started this business about 5 years ago, in fact, we're coming up on 5 years in just a few weeks now. So
congratulations.
I have learned that every job we do is unique and different, and that really excites me. So that's a little bit about maybe how this model and how this business came up to the top. So some of it was a process of elimination.
Oh, that's great. I noticed you said two things that kind of stuck out to me. Is you commented about your wife and how wives can help guide us in the right direction of, hey, you know what, you're complaining about that. Why don't you do something about it? And sometimes it's that person that's right next to us that knows us well and that can say those types of things to us to help us kind of nudge us along. The other thing is how you went through the process of elimination. You used a lot of different tools to help you kind of look at, okay, the restaurant, quick service type of food service, those things aren't going to fit my personality. Those are going to be, that 24-hour period becomes, heavy work 24-hour periods with, call-ins and things like that. You have all kinds of different requirements, and you figured out, okay, what makes sense for you in the lifestyle that you want, because it seems like you want to make sure that you're involved with your children's lives and have a home life so that your life isn't your work. So you can promote a specific type of lifestyle as well.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And I think you hit the nail on the head with sometimes, I didn't realize that I was really complaining that much about my job, or that, my wife said that she's like, I remember when we got married that you told me that you wanted to start your own business. And I was like, I said that? I don't remember that, but I know, I'm sure I did say it. So I guess the point there is, you're right, that sometimes you need someone else who is close to you to be able to recognize that see that and then give you that feedback and say, hey, you've been thinking about this a lot. You've been saying this a lot, and sometimes it's an eye opener. So absolutely credit to my wife for me to basically make this plunge into entrepreneurship.
Yeah, that's great to have somebody there that can speak sometimes difficult words into our lives and tell us, hey, you said this, so why don't you do something about it? So
Exactly.
it's a great chance to be able to have that. So I know we originally met through the local Chamber of Commerce. Can you talk about some of the benefits that you've realized from working with the Chamber?
Yeah. So when I started the business, I had no involvement in any chambers because my previous career never really needed me or pushed me in that direction. But as I started the business, I wanted to be connected with the local community. I wanted to know local either business owners or business professionals, and I needed to build my local networking group. So I was like, okay, how do I do that? And this was one of the advices that my franchisor gave me and said, hey, you probably want to start getting involved in your chamber. So we are currently members of 2 chambers, and it has been fantastic because I am able to connect with other business professionals. And it was important for me 5 years ago, and even right now, to build awareness. How do I get my name out? How do I get my business name out? How do I get across to people who we are, what we do? And from that point forward, it's kind of word of mouth, So yes, it has helped us from a business standpoint. But the other thing was I wanted to get involved in the sense that how do I help the chamber also? So we will donate signage when possible. We will give heavy discounts on signage. We will do in-kind donations for, let's say, if there's a golf tournament,
right,
and Image360 wants to be a sponsor, we would say, okay, we will do the golf signage for a certain discount, or it may even be free of charge depending on what the amount of signage is. And the other thing was that how can I also donate my time? It's not just about donating product, but
right,
it's also, so on one of the chambers, I'm part of the marketing committee. So since I have, a little bit of marketing experience there, I was like, okay, let me see if I can help grow the chamber. How do we get the chamber's name out there also? So, I think that's been a great investment on my part as far as my time goes. The ROI has been tremendous. I have built new friends through the chamber. Obviously, acquaintances and business connections are always important.
right.
And Michael, you remember, you and I know each other through the chamber, so there's another added benefit, So
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, from what it sounds like, is one of the things that you've learned in this process, and I think you even said it was one of the, I guess, business coaches within the Image360 franchise process recommended going to the chamber, not just for, hey, you're personally, but you also see this in terms of giving back, how it helps you just through the process of getting involved and saying, you know what, hey, the business is going on all around me. How do I get a part of that? Not necessarily that it's going to immediately turn into, new receipts coming into your business, but it's, that branding, that marketing, whether it's a golf tournament. And I know golf out here in the Raleigh area is a very big deal, which I'm pretty sure it is in other places as well. But having that opportunity to, donate signage or even provide discounts for signage helps the community and get the word out there, because, local chambers, I think in some instances are overlooked because of, they don't seem to be, glamorous enough. They're pretty bare bones, minimalistic kind of groups that help the community, but they know a lot of what's going on. They keep the finger on the pulse of those communities. So I think, understanding that and you sharing just some of your story with it helps me to understand, and I think others as well, to see that there's a lot more benefit to it than just that quote unquote membership.
Right. And I think it's you get out of it depending on what you put into it, and you have to give to get. So,
Right.
if you are just a member and don't get involved, you're probably not going to get much out of it. Are you going to the networking events? Are you going to the business after hours? Are you donating your time? And that's basically, the principle that I see. And the other thing is all chambers are not equal either. So I'm fortunate to be part of several chambers who do a fantastic job of running, sending out newsletters, as well as, today with COVID times right now, networking has changed, but the chambers do a great job of organizing Zoom meetings and continue, networking activities remotely.
Oh, that's great to hear, because it is, as you said, not all chambers are created equally, but they, being a part of ones that are bringing people together to help the business, small businesses grow and get, together, have those networking opportunities is great. Now, you made mention of getting involved. I noticed something about your volunteer work of you're a volunteer with the Academy of Finance. Now, how did you get involved with that? I think that's with a local school here in the Raleigh area as well.
That is correct. So that's another family connection. So
Okay.
My daughter is the reason why I kind of became involved with the Academy of Finance. So the Academy of Finance is a part of NAF, which is the National Academy of Finance, and it's basically a national academy that has over 600 chapters, and it is a high school academy. So it is an academy geared towards high school students, where only the high school students can join these academies. And it's a 4-year commitment on a student's part. So it's almost like if the student is interested in that, and originally my daughter was not, but with a little bit of nudging and pushing, she reluctantly joined and was very happy. And of course, I was happy as the dad also that she joined. And it's a commitment on part of the student for 4 years, where the students gain kind of critical knowledge through a series of work-based learning activities outside the classroom, like job shadowing, or learning about different internships, or resume writing workshops, mock interviews. They have field trips where the students will go. For example, a couple of years ago, they went to Atlanta and they toured CNN, the headquarters, and see how everything is run behind the scenes. They went to Coca-Cola headquarters, and it's basically learning more about how do businesses in the real life, how do they run? What are the different departments? What are the different job functions that people have? And it's basically, I think, a process where the seed planting is occurring into the brain of a high school student who, if they join the academy, they're only in 9th grade, so it's very early, but it gives them exposure to different vocations and different aspects of marketing and accounting and finance. And as I said, it's a 4-year commitment on part of the student. And at the end of if they stick and stay in the academy for 4 years, they graduate with that certificate.
Wow.
This particular academy is at Sanderson High School right here in Raleigh, which is where my daughter went. And the academy at Sanderson is a distinguished academy. It is one of the top AOF, or Academy of Finance academies in the nation. So they are accredited and they run a fantastic program there. So that's a little bit about how I got involved. So since my daughter was part of that, I was like, hey, maybe I could get involved in this also. And in fact, one of the fellow parents approached me and said, hey, I'm a board member at the Academy of Finance at Sanderson. We would love to have you on the board. And at first I was like, okay, all right, let's see what this is about. And fantastic students, fantastic experience. And I'm part of the advisory board, so we basically help with planning and budgeting, and most importantly, mentoring some of the students, and creating a connection between their education and how that would impact their future success.
Oh wow, that seems like a great experience for the students to be involved in, to be able to see, one, the experience to go to the CNN and see how they put all of that together, and also seeing how the individual parts play to make the final product. Because I know for myself, a lot of times I forget how many different little pieces fall into place for one thing to happen, whether it's making a sign, it's, this person has to make sure the colors are right. This person has to make sure the printing is right, because if one person's is off, you being an engineer would know this, hey, that's off, that's not right. And back early on, I worked for a printing company back in the early days. So I remember, having the images and burning the wrong image on my black sheet, and they were like, why is it not coming out right? And then it was like, oh, you made a mistake. Oh, darn.
Yeah.
Something as simple as that, ruins everything. And having the students to be able to see something like that is valuable. And I don't know necessarily all the times. I know myself, I'll put myself in this. In the ninth grade, I know I wouldn't have seen it as valuable. I would have probably been like, why am I doing this? This is a waste of my time. But looking back would have been like, oh, wow, that I really learned some things. And I hope, your daughter was able to gain some great knowledge and some great tips and tools from it. And I think, just from you sharing, it seems like you've had a as good of time as your daughter and the other students have had in working with them and giving back to the students as well.
Absolutely. I mean, it was an eye-opener for me also. I did not know that this existed. And as I learned more about the program and how it was enriching to the students, I was like, this is fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wish there were more programs like that.
Yes. Yeah, that would be beneficial to so many more people to have things like that. I guess if you had, what are the top 2 or 3 things that you would share with somebody that's looking to start their own business?
Yeah. So I think one of the things is I didn't know what I wanted to do when I grew up. Like you said. So it's okay if you don't know what it is you want to do. There are resources out there. There are tools out there that can help you narrow down what it is that you want to do. Now, there are some entrepreneurs who right off the bat, they're like, nope, this is exactly what I'm going to do. This is my passion. You know what? That's great. But some of us don't, know exactly what that is. So that's okay. You just kind of have to take that plunge or that leap of faith. But do your research. What's the investment that's going to be needed for your business? What's the market opportunity there? Look at all the costs very carefully. My franchisor did a great job. Again, that's where the hand-holding came in. And if you're looking to join a franchise or if you're not looking to join a franchise, either way, do your research. Figure out the minimum that you need to make in order to sustain yourself. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Do not mortgage your house, sell your cars. I know some spouses where both husbands and wives leave their jobs and they jump into the business, head first. That might work for some people, but for me, it was almost like, all right, let's look at this a little more analytically, and that's where my engineer brain comes into play, But also forecasts are not accurate. I mean, very few forecasts are. You can do a pro forma, you can figure out what your annual sales are going to be, but just take that with a grain of salt. Another couple items would be watch your costs. Be as lean as you can when you start out, because when you're starting a new business, money is gushing out with very little coming in. So you have to be able to sustain yourself until you reach that break-even point. So be frugal would be my advice there. And then the last thing is always remember your business exists because of your employees and clients in that order. So I think employees come first, clients are important. Of course, a business cannot exist without clients, but take care of your employees and everything else will hopefully fall in place. And obviously take care of your clients also. So I think just don't forget that. And here we are 5 years in, and we're still here. So
No, I think that you bring up some great points for people to be able to understand in going into business. It's not, you don't open up whether it's a physical location or an online location, and automatically the money starts rolling in. There's a lot of hard work behind the scenes, and understanding some of those little things, those little pieces of things like being lean. Don't spend the money if you don't have to spend that money. Make sure you understand that, hey, this has got to sustain me. And to be able to be a small business that is still in business after 5 years is telling, because the majority of businesses that have started go out of business within the first 3 years. So, you made it that first hurdle, and I congratulate you on that. And I say congratulations also because you are going to be hitting that 5-year mark in the next few weeks.
Thank you.
So
that's one of the steps that scared me when I first started. But no, we've been fortunate, so I appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a commitment by you, and I think you said something at the end there of taking care of your employees as well as your customers, because without the employees you can't service the customers. There's this relationship, almost like the golden goose syndrome. It's like, okay, well, the goose lays the golden eggs. How do I make sure that I continue to get the golden eggs? You got to make sure the goose is healthy. And making sure you balance that relationship. One is not more important than the other per se,
Right.
but they work together. There is that relationship you need to maintain. So last question is, how can people find you if they wanted to get some signage or work done?
Absolutely. So our website is image360northraleigh.com, or you can just Google Image360 North Raleigh, will come up. I am on LinkedIn, obviously under my name, Manish Dubal, so you can find me on LinkedIn. You can email me also, and email address is manish@image360northraleigh.com. We are physically in our shop every day, 8:30 to 5. However, our lobby is closed right now. So the best way to contact us is to call us or email us. And our company, Image360, is on Instagram, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn also, under Image360 North Raleigh.
All right. Thank you, Manish. I do appreciate you taking the time to interview today. Again, this was Manish Dubal with Image360 in North Raleigh. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week, and have a great day.
Thanks so much, Michael. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you for watching this week's video. I hope you were able to find one thing you can begin to apply to your life today. I would appreciate it if you would like, comment, and subscribe. Also, if you have any feedback, leave it in the comments below. Let us know if you know of any great guests to be on the spotlight. I look forward to your questions and your comments. Thanks again for watching.